Well, Happy New Year and welcome back to the ROKK Rundown. We are talking about all kinds of things relative to communications today. Let's start though. It's been the most unbelievably short and long week as it relates to earned media. Every day was a full news cycle that ordinarily would have lasted a lot longer. Let's get started.
So, for those that don't know, we record this on Thursday. So by the time I talk, this could all be, by the time this gets to our audiences, this can completely be in the rear view. But I mean, if you look at just this week and the bookends to it, right? It starts with Trump's actions in Venezuela. And then from there, it kind of starts cascading into our imminent takeover of Greenland. And then just like a whipsaw, we turn back to domestic issues with the shooting and the killing of an American citizen by an ICE agent in Minnesota. And so if you're just kind of looking at not only the partisanship of it, of people have chosen sides on both of these issues very quickly, but just the whipsaw of, we are in a foreign policy gaze just to come back to domestic issues in such a harsh way.
Yeah, I mean, if you even look at just talking a little bit about what happened in the tragedy in Minneapolis, you just look at the video, and it's the same footage, and one side has one interpretation, and the other side has another interpretation. It's kind of amazing to watch the two arguments. But I would say there was a high level of other stories underneath the surface of those major issues. A lot of them have to do with Trump, of course. One of them is, elected Republicans who have primaries this year, who really do have elections where Trump is not on the ticket, want to talk about affordability desperately. They want to connect. And Trump did something really positive, is that he said he does not want, in terms of connecting on affordability, he said he didn't want institutional investors to buy any more housing because that drives the prices up. And I'm not saying that institutional investors should not do that. What I'm saying is, for congressional Republicans, that's something they could hang their hat on, try and connect with people about the cost of things. I don't know if they agree with him on that or not, because that is not a Republican principle. That's not a free market principle. But it's one thing that was highly overlooked. You might not have seen it to have understood what's going on. Another thing that was mentioned, but without Venezuela, without Minneapolis, with all these other things going on, the fact that he's going to bring in health insurance companies to talk to them about bringing their costs down at a time where 20 million Americans who receive Obamacare subsidies no longer receive them, is a really big deal. And what kind of deals is Trump going to do in order to deal with these companies or not? Mm-hmm. Probably there's going to be some deals out of it that he can use politically to the benefit of Republicans. But what really matters is, do those prices, do those costs of Obamacare, do the offsets of Obamacare subsidies, are they taken care of by these deals? Mm-hmm. And if they're not, we have a big problem. It's just another struggle with Republicans on health.
I want to put a finer point on what both of you just said. In the 4 days since this week started, there has never been a breath taken in between the stories, the biggest stories of the week. And that, I think, is something that relates back to the importance of owned. Because we talked a little bit about not having that moment, but I want to take 1 minute to talk about how important having your own owned channel is for communications, because it's getting to our third part of the conversation today. Owned media is creating your own channels, whether it is at an association talking about writing columns that you share on your own webpage, having them as, I don't even people call them blogs anymore, but making sure that you yourself as an organization or the leader of an organization are talking about your own personal issues on your own platform that you own, social media, online. Because for that reason, the noise of news every single day is so loud that your own story can get lost. And that's kind of the finer point I wanted to put on what you're saying, is that that's the kind of counsel we're giving our clients, is that having your own space, you own social media channels, you own a website, making sure that you're sharing your stories on those platforms is incredibly important. And anyway, so that's the finer point I wanted to put on the notes that you both had said.
Well, I think that's extremely important, especially when there is just such suffocation. There's no, you're right, there's no air to breathe, and nothing else is going to get out. Like, I mean, there are a few other things. I mean, the new nutrition guidelines, the fact that the U.S. Retreated from 66 different international treaties and so on and so forth. I mean, there was a point in time when any of these pieces of news would drive an entire day, an entire week, or so on and so forth. We're talking about them for 20 seconds and then kind of moving on. So to the point of, if you are not the White House, if you are not Congress, if you are trying to figure out a way to get your voice out and you cannot depend on earned media, because earned media is just I mean, there's less and less of it. Actually, just to kind of give you another story, which I think is huge, which hasn't really gotten any, at least for people like us, the fact that the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette is going to be going away in May. I mean, there are less and less opportunities on the earned media side. So to your point, having the ability to use your own channels to get your message out is key.
Yeah, it's important to have a blended strategy of earned, owned, and paid. And the paid side is very important to help complement the earned because of what the challenges of what Rodell had just mentioned. What's also extremely important are a couple of things. One is knowing that if your brand is not in the AI search engine, that's a huge problem.
Right.
So people are using Google now, but Google uses an AI platform that gives you the little description above all the links. And if you're not part of that, you've got an issue. And so making sure that your brand is getting the attention it needs through targeted placements, targeted paid advertising, also earned media in targeted ways like trade press, which is huge and so important that the AI search engines are going to pick up. You type in ChatGPT, an issue, an organization, you want to make sure that what's coming up is what you want to have happen. That's why we have, actually, this is a shameless plug, this is our channel. This is our own channel, people.
That's right. That's why we're here. That's why we're here today.
Yeah, exactly. We have an AI visibility tracking tool that tracks your issue, tracks your company among all these platforms to see what is AI saying about you, you know, and versus your competition, and making sure like we can optimize it and how can we level you up. Very important. Give us a call.
The other thing too about that though, Ron, and you make a great point, is if you don't have the budget for paid and you can't get your story told on earned, AI will also pick up the owned content that you are sharing if you're consistent about it. So visibility has 3 different pillars. Those 3 pillars all work together very well. But the priority, more than anything, is to make sure that you do get pulled in these searches when people are looking for you.
Absolutely.
Okay. Well, that's first week 1. Thanks for joining us for the ROKK Rundown.
Happy New Year.